Shabbat Shalom. We've got the Bible reading today. I've got my big Holy Catholic Bible. I'll put this one up here. I've got a King Jimmy. The Scriptures, New World Translation, and the English Standard Version. And we're in somewhere Vermont. And there's wind, so let's see what happens. Turn this one. We're in 34 today. We've moved on to, we're moving right along in Job. So let's pray and then let's party. Oh, Father Yahweh, we know that you are righteous above all. Keep our focus on you. Keep our words yours. And keep our eyes on Yeshua HaMashiach. In Yeshua's name, amen. How's it going? All right, Job 34. Then Elihu responded and said, "Hear my words, you wise men. Give ear to me, you who have knowledge. For the ear tries words as the palate tastes food. Let us choose what is right for us. Let us know among us what is good. For Job has said, I am righteous, but El has taken away my right. Would I lie concerning my right? My wound is incurable, without transgression. And what man is like Job, who drinks mocking like water, who goes in company with the workers of wickedness, and walks with men of wrongness? For he has said, it does not profit a man that he takes delight in Elohim. Therefore, listen to me, you men of heart. Far be it from El to do wrong, and from the Almighty to commit unrighteousness. For he repays man's work to him, and makes man to find a reward according to his path. The truth is, El does not do wrong, and the Almighty does not twist right ruling. Who has assigned to him the earth, and who has laid out all the world? If he sets his heart on him, should he gather to himself his spirit and his breath? All flesh would expire together, and man return to dust. If you have understanding, hear this. Give ear to the sound of my words. Should the one who hates right ruling govern? Or would you declare a most righteous one wrong? Who shall say to a sovereign, Belial to nobles, wrong one? Who is not partial to princes, nor regards the rich more than the poor, for they are all the work of his hands. In a moment they die, in the middle of the night. The people are shaken and pass away, and the mighty are taken away without a hand. For his eyes are on the way of men, and he sees all his steps. There is no darkness, nor shadow of death, where the workers of wickedness conceal themselves. For he sets a man no stated time to appear before El in right ruling. He breaks in pieces the mighty without inquiry, and puts others in their place. Truly he knows their works. He shall overthrow in the night, and they are crushed. As wrong ones, he slaps them in presence of onlookers, because they turned from following him, and they regarded not at all his ways, so as to cause the cry of the poor to come to him. For he hears the cry of the afflicted. And when he is silent, who would then condemn? And when he conceals his face, who then sees him, whether it is against a nation or a man alone? So that a defiled one should not reign, lest the people be ensnared. For has anyone said to El, I have taken away, I do not act corruptly? Teach me what I do not see. If I have done unrighteousness, I shall not do so again. He should repay you because you have refused. Should he repay you because you have refused? For you choose, and not I. Therefore, speak what you know. Let men of heart say to me, and a wise man who listens to me. Job does not speak with knowledge, and his words are without wisdom. Would that Job be tried to the end, since his answers are like those of wicked men. For he adds rebellion to his sin. He claps his hands among us, and multiplies his words against El. All right, so this is still Elihu going on from 32. 32, he basically enters the conversation and expresses his heart, why he feels that he has right to speak. 33, he gives examples of Job and how he's putting himself in a position to be an adversary to Elohim, and now he's gonna teach them wisdom. Although he starts out with, "Hear my words, you wise men. Give ear to me, you who have knowledge." So he's allowed them to speak because of their age, and he is giving them the title, partially sarcastically, of wise men. Very sarcastically, of wise men. You who have knowledge. For the ear tries words as the palate tastes food. I mean, that's just a metaphor for the senses. Let us choose what is right for us. Let us know among us what is good. What is good? There is one good. Matthew 19:16. And see, one came and said to him, "Good teacher, what good shall I do to have everlasting life?" And he said to him, "Why do you call me good? No one is good except one, Elohim. But if you wish to enter into life, guard the commands." This is actually the rich man who comes to Yeshua and wants to know how he enters into life. So, let us know among us what is good. One is good, Elohim. For Job has said, "I am righteous," but El has taken away my right. Yeah, he's given away all his, he showed, "I put on righteousness," 29:14, "and it robed me. Right ruling was my cloak and turban." And, 31:23, "For I am in dread of destruction from El, and from his excellence I could not escape." Would I lie concerning my right? My wound is incurable without transgression. Oh, huh. Yeah, that's more Job quote. Is it not calamity to the perverse and straightness to the workers of wickedness? I became a brother of jackals and a companion of ostriches, the heckling. What man is like Job, who drinks mocking like water, who goes in company with the workers of wickedness and walks with men of wrongness? Drinks mocking like water. The accusation here is that it's mocking Elohim. And so, who goes in company with the workers of wickedness? He's feeling estranged from Elohim. For he has said, "It does not profit a man to take delight in Elohim." I don't know exactly where all these quotes are. Because, honestly, I don't really remember Job saying this. I think this is kind of Elihu's interpretation of what Job is saying. Therefore, listen to me, you men of heart. Far be it from El to do wrong, and from the Almighty to commit unrighteousness. Go to Deuteronomy 6 for this witness. Woo. Six 17. Diligently guard the commands of Yahweh your Elohim and his witnesses, and his laws which he has commanded you, and you shall do what is right and good in the eyes of Yahweh, that it might be well with you, and you shall go in to possess the good land of which Yahweh swore to your fathers, to drive out all your enemies from before you, as Yahweh has spoken. We go to (5:31), but you stand here by me, and let me speak to you all the commands and the laws and the right rulings, which you are to teach them, and they shall do them in the land which I am giving them to possess. And you shall guard to do as Yahweh your Elohim has commanded you. Do not turn aside to walk left or right. Walk in all the ways which Yahweh your Elohim has commanded you, so that you live and it be well with you, and you shall prolong your days in the land which you possess. So who has right ruling? Elohim has right ruling. For he repays man's work to him, and makes man to find a reward according to his path. Each one according to his works. Revelation 20:12. And I saw the dead, small and great, standing before the throne, and books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life, and the dead were judged from what was written in the books according to their works. Back to verse 11. For he repays man's work to him, and makes man to find a reward according to his path. The truth is, El does not do wrong, and the Almighty does not twist right ruling. Who has assigned to him the earth, and who has laid out all the world? Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, Elohim created heavens and the earth. So nobody gave earth to Elohim. Elohim created heavens and earth. Who has assigned to him the earth, and who has laid out all the world? See if we can. to grab my phone because I irresponsibly did not have it. Okay, so this is Acts 7. From Isaiah 66, 1 and 2. I didn't even remember this. The heaven is my throne, Acts 7:49. The heaven is my throne and earth is my footstool. What house shall you build for me, says Yahweh, and what is the place of my rest? Has my hand not made all these? Just as another example. Thus said Yahweh, the heavens are my throne and the earth is my footstool. Where is the house that you build for me, and where is this place of my rest? And all these my hand has made, and all these that exist, declares Yahweh. Yet to such a one I look, on him who is poor and bruised of spirit, and who trembles at my word. Even better. But whoever slays the bull strikes a man, whoever slaughters a lamb breaks a dog's neck. Whoever brings a grain offering, pig's blood. Whoever burns incense blesses an idol. Indeed, they have chosen their own ways, and their being delights in their abomination. I shall also choose their punishment, and bring their fears on them, because I called, but no one answered. I spoke, and they did not hear. And they did evil before my eyes, and chose what was displeasing to me. Hear the word of Yahweh, you who tremble at his word. Your brothers who hate you, who cast you out for my name's sake, said Yahweh, let Yahweh be esteemed so that we see your joy. But they are put to shame. Okay, so. Who has assigned to him the earth, and who has laid out all the world? If he sets his heart on him, should he gather to himself his spirit and his breath? So the way I have this here, verse 14, if he were to take back his spirit to himself, withdraw to himself his breath. The New World translations often, if he fixes his attention on them, if he gathers their spirit and breath to himself. Trying to find if there's any that have upon man, if he gather unto himself his breath and his spirit. All flesh would expire together and man return to dust. Okay, so if Yahweh did selfishly, if he set his heart on him, if he really wanted to expire man, make man go extinct, and be selfish himself, if he sets his heart on him, should he gather to himself his spirit and his breath, all flesh would expire together and man return to dust. So if Yah wanted to be selfish, he would end up killing everybody like a flood or something. Genesis 6:7, and Yahweh said, I am going to wipe off man whom I have created from the face of the ground, both man and beast, creeping creature and birds of the heavens, for I am sorry that I have made them. But Noah found favor in the eyes of Yahweh. This is the genealogy of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, perfect in his generations. Noah walked with Elohim. Yeah. Like a flood. If you have understanding, hear this. Give ear to the sound of my words. What is understanding? 28:28, and he said to man, see, the fear of Yahweh, that is wisdom, and to turn from evil is understanding. To turn from evil is understanding. Give ear to the sound of my words. Should the one who hates right ruling govern, or would you declare a most righteous one wrong? Who shall say to a sovereign, Belial to nobles? Wrong one. What do we got here? 18. Shall say to the king, you are worthless, and to nobles you are wicked. Oh, who shall say to a sovereign, Belial, you are worthless, and to nobles, wrong one. So if you had a king here that you could see, where is this? Oh, we're on the wrong page. If you had a king here, would you say to a king, you are good for nothing, or to nobles, you are wicked? It's easy to talk to El this way. It's easy to talk to Elohim this way because we can't see him. And we know that he's a lovingly committed one. So there's a lot of hatred for God in this town, in Vermont right here. This is incredible. I've never seen such a thing. Everybody just like doesn't believe. This is worse than New York. Ignorance. Who is not partial to princes, nor regards the rich more than the poor, for they are all works of his hands. So even compounding this, you wouldn't talk to your king like that, but especially, who is not partial to princes, nor regards the rich more than the poor, for they are all the work of his hands. He created all men. Exodus 23. Do not bring a false report. Do not put your hand with the wrong to be a malicious witness. Do not follow a crowd to do evil, nor bear witness in a strife so as to turn aside after many, to turn aside what is right. And do not favor a poor man in his strife. When you meet your enemy's ox or his donkey going astray, you shall certainly return it to him. When you see the donkey of him who hates you lying under its burden, you shall refrain from leaving it to him. You shall certainly help him. Do not turn aside the right ruling of your poor in his strife. Keep yourself far from a false matter, and do not kill the innocent and the righteous. For I do not declare the wrong right, and do not take a bribe, for a bribe blinds the seeing one and twists the words of the righteous. and do not oppress a sojourner, as you yourselves know the heart of a sojourner, because you are sojourners in the land of Mitzrayim. And for 6 years you are to sow your land, and shall gather its increase. But the 7th year you are to let it rest, and shall leave it, and the poor of your people shall eat, and what they leave the beasts of the field eat. Do the same with your vineyards and your olive yard. That's reiterated in Deuteronomy 24, which we've seen quite a few times. The Torah for rich versus poor. Do not favor the poor, and do not rule against the poor. In a moment they die. In the middle of the night, the people are shaken and pass away, and the mighty are taken away without a hand. For his eyes are on the ways of man, and he sees all his steps. Verse 20, I'm sure there's a proverb for somewhere, but we're not gonna necessarily go into that because I don't know where it would be. There is no darkness nor shadow of death where the workers of wickedness conceal themselves. For he sets a man no stated time to appear before El in right ruling. Our days are not numbered, necessarily preordained. It's not like you have an expiration date on you. What do we have for 22? Hi, how are you? There is no darkness so dense that evildoer can hide from it. Can hide in it. Where the workers of wickedness conceal themselves. Oh, okay. There's no darkness or deep shadow where wrongdoers can conceal themselves. Psalm 139, 11 and 12. We'll go there. I don't know what's there, but we'll give it a shot. If I say darkness shall cover me, then night would be light to me. Even darkness is not dark for you, but night shines as day. As is darkness, so is light. What? Yeah, I mean, that fits the bill, but I'm not seeing what that means right now, and that means that I can't explain it to you. So we'll go over that when we do Psalm 139 in a couple weeks, but let's try Jeremiah 23. Jeremiah 23, 24. If anyone is concealed in secret places, would I not see him, declares Yahweh? Do I not fill the heavens and earth, declares Yahweh? Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what he's saying here. You know, you can't, there's no place dark enough for those staying in darkness to hide from hell. He can see as though night was light. Then night would be light to me. Even darkness is not for you, is not dark for you. Yeah, verse 12. Even darkness is not dark for you, Elohim. But night shines as the day, as is in darkness, so is light. Everybody understand that? Where he sets a man no stated time to appear before El in right ruling. This is full of cross references, which we're not going to go to necessarily. but there are a lot in the New World Translation. If you go to any Kingdom Hall, Jehovah's Witness place, they'll have New World Translation with all these cross references for you. I'm pretty sure they all use the same one. They all use one copy of the word, which is cool as a denomination, but also uncool because it's like King James only people. One of the things about the 12 tribes is that they all use whatever Bible they want, whatever translation they want, and that way everybody has different input. Everybody, it's like how I'm using 5 translations here. There's a reason for that. Verse 24, he breaks in pieces the mighty without inquiry and puts others in their place. This we'd seen somewhere in Isaiah. That Ezekiel. I'm reading so much Bible. I end up having to take a couple days. But then I'm like, man, if I take a couple days, it's gonna take a couple days to get back on it. And then it just, I don't know, like, are you better off going through every day? Let's look where this is. You know what I mean? Doing a little bit a day or doubling down on some days. Something about oh, I think this is where it was. Try and find it. There was a prophecy where he says, I shall slaughter the strong and the rich. All right. Truly he knows their works, and he shall overthrow in the night, and they are crushed. We read about their works. He give to each according to his works. There's a Hebrews on it. Here. He knows their works. And belief is the substance of what is expected, the proof of what is not seen. For by this the elders obtained witness. By belief we understand that the ages were prepared by the word of Elohim, so that what is seen was not made of what is visible. By belief Abel offered to Elohim a great slaughter offering than Cain, through which he obtained witness that he was righteous. Elohim witnessing of his gifts, and through it, having died, he still speaks. By belief Enoch was translated so as not to see death, and was not found because Elohim had translated him. For before his translation he obtained witness that he pleased Elohim, but without belief it is impossible to please him. For he who comes to Elohim has to believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of those who earnestly seek him. By belief Noah, having been warned of what was yet unseen, having feared, prepared an ark to save his house, through which he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness which is according to belief. This is Hebrews 11. By belief Abraham obeyed when he was called to go out to the place which he was about to receive as an inheritance. And he went out, not knowing where he was going. By belief he sojourned in the land of promise as a stranger, dwelling in tents with Yitzchak and Jacob, the heirs of him of the same promise. For he was looking for the city having foundations, whose builder and maker is Elohim. By belief also Sarah herself was enabled to conceive seed, and she bore a child when she was past the normal age, because she deemed him trustworthy who had promised. And so from one, and him as good as dead, were born as numerous as the stars of the heavens, as countless as the sands which is by the seashore. In belief all these died, and not having received the promises, but seeing them from a distance, welcome and embrace them, and confess that they were aliens and strangers on the earth. By belief Joseph, by belief Jacob, by belief Moshe. Truly he knows their works, and he shall overthrow in the night, and they are crushed. As wrong ones he slaps them in the presence of onlookers, because they turned from following him, and they regarded not all his ways, so as to cause the cry of the poor to come to him, for he hears the cry of the afflicted. This is the one who basically is declaring a most righteous one wrong from verse 17. As wrong one, he slaps them in the presence of onlookers, because they turned from following him, and they regarded not all his ways, so as to call him so as to cause the cry of the poor to come out to him, and he hears the cry of the afflicted. We know this from Exodus. Exodus 3:7, and Yahuwah said, I have indeed seen the oppression of my people who are in Mitzrayim, and have heard their cry because of their slave drivers, for I know their sorrows. We also see this in Revelation. Eight 4, and the smoke of the incense with the prayers of the set apart ones went up before Elohim from the hand of the messenger. And the messenger took the censer and filled it with fire from the slaughter place and threw it to the earth. And there were noises, the thunders and lightnings and an earthquake. And so the prayers go up to Elohim, and then he has his messenger take those prayers with... the consequences, the punishments. The messenger takes the punishments and throws them back to the earth. And there were noises and thunders and lightnings and an earthquake. Because they turned from following him and they regarded not his ways. Deuteronomy 29:24. And all nations shall say, why has Yahuwah done so to this land? What does the heat of this great displeasure mean? And it shall be said, because they have forsaken the covenant of Yahuwah their Elohim of their fathers, which he made with them when he brought them out of the land of Mitzrayim, and they went and served other mighty ones and bowed themselves to them, mighty ones that they did not know, and that he had not given them. Therefore the displeasure of Yahuwah burned against this land, to bring on it every curse that is written in this book. And Yahuwah uprooted them from their land in displeasure and in wrath and in great rage, and cast them into another land, as it is today. The concealed matters belong to Yahuwah our Elohim, but what is revealed belongs to us and to our children forever, to do all the words of this Torah. Praise Yahuwah. And when he is silent, who would then condemn? And when he conceals his face, who then sees him, whether it is against a nation or a man alone? Let's go into 2 Chronicles 6, one of my newer favorite chapters. Second Chronicles 6:36. When they sin against you, for there is no one who does not sin, and you become enraged with them, and give them to the enemy, and they take them captive to a land far or near, and they shall turn back unto their heart in the land where they have been taken captive, and shall turn and make supplication to you in the land of their captivity, saying, we have sinned, we have acted crookedly, and have done wrong. And when they return to you with all their heart and with all their being in the land of their captivity, where they have taken them captive, and they shall pray toward their land which you gave to their fathers, and the city which you have chosen, and toward the house which I have built for your name, then you shall hear from the heavens, your dwelling place, their prayer and their supplications, and maintain their cause, and forgive your people who have sinned against you. Now, my Elohim, I pray, let your eyes be open, and let your ears be attentive to the prayer of this place. And now, arise, O Yahuwah Elohim, to your resting place, you in the ark of your strength. Let your priests, O Elohim, be robed with deliverance, and let your lovingly committed ones rejoice in goodness. There is a Torah for rebuking in public. But I don't know where it is. So that a defiled one should not reign, lest the people be ensnared, verse 30. For has anyone said to El, I have taken away and I do not act corruptly? What did we just read in 2 Chronicles 6? For there is no one who does not sin. Teach me what I do not see. If I have done unrighteousness, I shall not do so again. Let's see. What is the prayer? Solomon's praying this prayer in 2 Chronicles 6. But what is the prayer that he prays originally? In 2 Chronicles 1, starting in 7. That night Elohim appeared to Shlomo and said to him, Ask what should I give you? And Shlomo said to Elohim, You have shown great love and commitment to Dawid my father, and have made me sovereign in his place. Now, Yahuwah, let your promise to Dawid my father stand fast. For you have set me up to reign over a people as numerous as the dust of the earth. Now give me wisdom and knowledge, so that I go out and come in before this people. For who is able to rightly rule this great people of yours? And Elohim said to Shlomo, Because this was in your heart, and you have not asked for riches or wealth or esteem or the life of your enemies, nor have you asked long life, but have asked wisdom and knowledge for yourself, so as to rightly rule my people over whom I have set you up to reign. Wisdom and knowledge are given to you, and riches and wealth and esteem I also give to you, such as none of the sovereigns have had who have been before you, nor any after you have. Teach me what I do not see. If I have done unrighteousness, I shall not do so again. Should he repay you because you have refused? For you choose and not I, therefore speak what you know. Let men of heart say to me, and a wise man who listens to me, Job does not speak with knowledge, and his words are without wisdom. Would that Job be tried to the end, since his answers are like those of wicked men. For he adds rebellion to his sin. He claps his hands among us and multiplies his words against El. So, point of this chapter is that he is... Now he's giving his witness of the righteousness of Elohim. And explaining that it's Yahuwah's heart. And more giving the character of Elohim than just trying to make Job admit that he did something wrong. Would a wise man answer with vain knowledge or fill his belly with the east wind? Would he reason with useless talk or by speeches which do not profit? 15:2 and 3. The light shall be dark in his tent, and his lamp beside him is put out. His strength is starved, and calamity ready at his side. You've known this of old, since man was placed on earth, that the singing of the wrong is short-lived, and the joy of the defiled one is but for a moment. Elihu, however, gives character to God. He's a little bit more harsh on Job. What man is like Job, who drinks mocking like water, and who goes in company with the workers of wickedness and walks with men of wrongness? For he said, it does not profit a man that he takes delight in Elohim. Now I remember when this is. Would he delight himself in the Almighty, call on Elohim at all times? $27.10. And so, and when he is silent, who would then condemn? And when he conceals his face, who then sees him, whether it is against a nation or a man alone? So, this is for you choose and not I, therefore speak what you know. If he remains tranquil, who can then condemn? If he hides his face, who then can behold him? When anyone says to God, I was misguided, I will offend no more. Teach me wherein I have sinned if I have done wrong. I will do so no more. Would you then say that God must punish since you reject what he is doing? It is you who must choose, not I. Speak therefore what you know. If somebody else was in this position, Job, what would you say to them? Would you tell them that they deserve punishment? When God remains silent, who can condemn him? When he hides his face, who can see him? Whether toward a nation or a man, the result is the same. So that a godless person may not rule or lay snares for the people. For will anyone say to God, I have punished, although I have committed no offense? Teach me what I have failed to see. If I have done anything wrong, I will not do it again. Should he reward you on your terms when you reject his judgment? You must decide, not I. So tell me what you know so well. Man, this is just a very well-spoken, give me your rebuttal. It is better that he turn away from you, because if he turned back to you while you're acting like this, you're going to be a bad example for other men. So if you are so righteous, tell me why you're so righteous, because what I'm seeing of you is not righteousness. And so Elihu may not be necessarily super familiar with Job, but he's just seeing Job's character right now in Job's turmoil and his trouble. Which there's something to be said about, because that is when, we're to shine the most, right? That's when we're to love Elohim the most and basically say, this is the we want people to look at us and be like, wow, that man's so at peace. He's calm. He knows where he's going. It's because we have the faith in Elohim that we will be delivered. And Elihu is observing the lack of that in Job right now because he's about tearing his hair out. I think he even does tear his hair out in the first chapter. 120, then Job rose up and tore his robe and shaved his head, and he fell to the ground and did obeisance. So he's literally like going crazy, you know. He looks like a madman. He's like, what's going on? He's got these ripped and tattered clothes. I think he even sat in sackcloth and ashes for 7 days. Sprinkled dust on his head toward the heavens. You know, and he doesn't look like a man of El, and he's not acting like a man of El. If somebody just saw him, they'd be like, well, yeah, this is why. And that's kind of what Elihu's saying. 35, and Elihu responded and said, do you think this is right? Do you say, my righteousness is more than that of El? For you say, of what use is it to you? What do I gain more than if I had sinned? Let me answer you and your friends with you. Look to the heaven and see, and consider the clouds which are higher than you. If you sin, what would you do against him? If your transgressions are increased, what would you do to him? If you are righteous, what do you give him, or what does he receive from your hand? Your wrong is for a man like yourself, and your righteousness for a son of man. Because of the multitude of oppressions they cry out. They cry out for help because of the arm of the many. And no one says, where is Eloah my maker, who gives songs in the night, teaching us more than the beasts of the earth, and makes us wiser than the birds of the heavens? There they cry, but he answers not, because of the pride of evil ones. Only it is false that El does not hear, and that the Almighty pays no attention to it. Although you say you do not see him, yet right ruling is before him, and you wait for him. And now is it for naught his displeasure has come? Yet he has not taken note of extreme arrogance. So Job opens his mouth in vain, and he increases words without knowledge. Wow. This is a short and sweet chapter. Do you think this is right? All the words that I've spoken to you, if you looked at a man doing this, would you think this is right? Do you say, my righteousness is more than that of El? This is the original rebuke in chapter 2. His wrath burned, or in 32:2, his wrath burned because he declared himself right rather than Elohim. For you say, of what use is it to you? What do I gain more than if I had sinned? Let me answer you and your friends with you. Now, I should have just been a sinner this whole time if this was going to befall me. Let me answer you and your friends with you. And he takes on this whole group, which is ballsy of Elihu. And actually, he keeps going for more chapters. So Elihu's kind of like the prophet here. He's really the man of reason. He comes kind of out of nowhere and just starts speaking great words into the conversation that had not been there before. And I'm going to, it's a very similar name. In John 1, the Pharisees are questioning John the Immerser. If we go to verse 19, now this was the witness of Yohanan when the Yehudim sent from Jerusalem priests and Levites to ask him, who are you? And he confessed and did not deny, but confessed, I am not the Messiah. And they asked him, what then? Are you Eliyahu? So he said, I am not. Are you the prophet? He answered, no. Therefore they said to him, who are you, so that we give an answer to those who sent us? And what do you say about yourself? He said, I am a voice of one crying in the wilderness, make straight the way of Yahweh, as the prophet Yeshayahu said. That's Isaiah 40, verse 3, which we can go to. Isaiah 40, comfort, comfort my people, says your Elohim. Speak to the heart of Jerusalem and cry out to her. that her hard service is completed, that her crookedness is pardoned, and that she received from the hand of Yahuwah double for all her sins. The voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare the way of Yahuwah, make straight in the desert a highway for our Elohim. Let every valley be raised and every mountain and hill made low, and the steep ground shall become level and the rough places smooth, and the esteem of Yahuwah shall be revealed, and all flesh together shall see it, for the mouth of Yahuwah has spoken. Another place that I want to go to is, Isaiah 9. And I was looking for the prophecy of Elijah coming first, which maybe will see if it's somewhere more. All right, so we're going to Matthew 17, 12b. Malachi 3 is where we're looking to be here. We're going to read all of Malachi 3. See, I am sending my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. Then suddenly the master you are seeking comes to his Hakal, even the messenger of the covenant, in whom you delight. See, he is coming, said Yahuwah of hosts. And who is able to bear the day of his coming, and who is able to stand when he appears? For he is like the fire of a refiner, and like the soap of a launderer. And he shall sit as a refiner and a cleanser of silver, and he shall cleanse the sons of Levi, and refine them as gold and silver, and they shall belong to Yahuwah, bringing near an offering in righteousness. Then shall the offspring of Yehuda and Yerushalayim be pleasant to Yahuwah, as in the days of old, as in former years. And I shall draw near to you for right ruling. And I shall be a swift witness against the practices of witchcraft, against adulterers, and against them that swear to falsehood, and against those who oppress the wage earner and his wages, and widows and the fatherless, and those who turn away a sojourner and do not fear me, said Yahuwah of hosts. For I am Yahuwah, I shall not change, and you, sons of Jacob, shall not come to an end. From the days of your fathers you have turned aside from my laws, and did not guard them. Turn back to me, and I shall turn back to you, said Yahuwah of hosts. But you said, in what shall we turn back? Would a man rob Elohim? Yet you are robbing me. But you said, in what have we robbed you? In the tithe and the offering. You are cursed with a curse, for you are robbing me, the nation, all of it. Bring all the tithes into your storehouse, and let there be food in my house, and please prove me in this, said YHWH of hosts, whether I do not open for you the windows of the heavens, and shall pour out for you boundless blessings. And I shall rebuke the devourer for you, so that it does not destroy the fruit of your ground, nor does the vine fail to bear fruit for you in the field, said YHWH of hosts. And all nations shall call you blessed, for you shall be a land of delight, said YHWH of hosts. Your words have been strong against me, said YHWH, but you have said, what have we spoken against you? And you have said, it is worthless to serve Elohim, and what did we gain when we guarded his charge, and when we walked as mourners before YHWH of hosts? And now we are calling the proud blessed. Not only are the doers of wrongness built up, but they also try Elohim and escape. Then shall those who fear YHWH speak to one another, and YHWH listens and hears, and a book of remembrance be written before him, of those who fear YHWH, and those who think upon his name. And they shall be mine, said YHWH of hosts, on the day that I prepare a treasured possession, and I shall spare them as a man spares his own son who serves him. Then you shall again see the difference between the righteous and the wrong, between one who serves Elohim and one who does not serve him. So that was Malachi 3:1. We are looking for Micah 3:21. Nope, not Micah. Where is this? Matthew 3:21. So is this not? What is MA? Acts 3:21. Okay. Because that makes sense. Yeah. Well, we got a lot more out of Malachi because basically because it talked a lot about the verse 14, you have said it is worthless to serve Elohim, and what did we gain when we guarded his charge, and we walked as mourners before YHWH of hosts? This is a great summary, Job. If you are righteous, what do you give him? The tithes of the storehouse, or what does he receive from your hand? Your wrong is for a man like yourself, and your righteousness for a son of man. You're just as wrong as any other man, and your righteousness is only righteousness compared to men. Because of the multitude of oppressions they cry out. They cry out for help because of the arm of many. What do we have here? 35:9. In great oppression men cry out. They call out for help because of the power of the mighty. So because they're being overpowered by men, they need help. They cry out in their affliction. And no one says, where is Eloah my maker, who gives song in the night, teaching us more than the beasts of the earth, and makes us wiser than the birds of the heavens? It's like that person that you only call when you need something, not just to say hello. There they cry, but he does not answer because of the pride of evil ones. I think that was in Malachi too. And now we are calling the proud blessed. Not only are the doers of wrongness built up, but they also try Elohim and escape. Only it is false that El does not hear, and that the Almighty pays no attention to it. We read Revelation and Exodus. Although you say you do not see him, yet right ruling is before him, and you wait for him with all expectation. And now is it for naught that his displeasure has come, yet he has not taken note of extreme arrogance. This is only the beginning, because you did something wrong to deserve this. Now you're acting wrong, yet he has not taken note of extreme arrogance. So Job opens his mouth in vain. He increases words without knowledge. Speaking out of pocket, Job. Praise Yah.